Oh man, how bomb was that Sony conference? I definitely think they made an impact, and they stamped their name on E3 this year. Xbox made some really big moves, but the game Sony came out with was really big, and I think they left a little bit of an impact, maybe a little bit more than Microsoft did. Not really too sure about that, but damn, the games they came out with, I can't wait to like just talk about them all. I'm so pumped. I'm really excited, and I gotta stop talking now. We just gotta go into it. Let's start out with her first game. Okay, before we get kicked off with Sony's press conference, I just want to state that Berserk got announced as the newest in the Dynasty Warriors series, which I'm pretty fucking excited for because I was always been a fan of Dynasty Warriors. But I felt like they needed to do something different, and they're adding Berserk to it, which is a really good anime. And if you like animes with action, a bit of sex, and some weird shit, then Berserk is definitely the anime for you. And I suggest you go check that out. But I'm really excited for that. Now we can get to the Sony's press conference and let's go. Okay, first up, we got some virtual reality stuff, and the first game we're gonna be talking about is the Final Fantasy virtual reality thing for Sony. And with this, it's not much really I can say about this. The most benefit you get from it is virtual reality, and it lets you play as a different character than the main one, which is kind of okay. But when they showed the gameplay for it, as you can see, it doesn't really, step out as something really different. It's just okay. We get the like he didn't do anything impressive in my opinion. It was just a thing they threw in, trying to get the sale on that virtual reality, which is okay, I guess. That part. Next up, we have the Batman VR, which was okay. We didn't really get to see any gameplay for it, but like I said, everybody's hopping on a virtual reality train, and it's not that big a deal to me. But I'm excited to step in the eye as a Batman. But they have to definitely do something with this series because I thought the Arkham series was really really good, and hopefully this is a step up from that, and they make virtual reality what it could be. Not talking in a sense of like fully immersing us into the game like mind, body, but just a step up from every other virtual reality game that's out right now. So good luck to them with that. And now that we're done with virtual reality, I just wanted to state that Sony did say that they have 50 games coming out for PlayStation VR, and the PlayStation VR itself will cost $399, basically $400, just in case you were interested about that. And that's all we have for VR. Next up, I'm pretty excited for this because I was a big fan of this game growing up. They're remastering Crash and bringing it to the PS4, which really, really excites me because I grew up playing Crash on the original systems, and I just had a ball playing that. And since there hasn't really been another Crash game, made the way they used to make it as a sole platformer, amazing. I'm really excited for this, and I definitely will be picking up this Crash Remastered and hammering that out. I'm really excited for this. Okay, so after all that, first game we're going to be talking about is this game called Farpoint. Now, it's a first-person shooter, and they revealed it at E3. I don't know much about this game, but if anything, I'd say it's like Doom if it wasn't hardcore, just the feel I got from it. And I really can't talk much about it because, like I said, they haven't given us anything, really. They showed us some gameplay, as you can see. We got big-ass monsters. And it kind of feels like Doom, except, less hardcore, but it seems to have some potential, so I'm really excited about that. Okay, then we have this game called The Last Guardian. They gave us a small trailer for it. Now, I will say the game looks really freaking amazing, and I'm in love with a game that has really good graphics. I'm not sure about how much the storyline goes. I know they talked about this game before, and I'm not really sure what it's about, but it looks like a really amazing game. One of those games that really immerses you in the story and looks pretty freaking cool. And it's like it's kind of like Limbo, except not so limbo-ish. If you catch my drift, I don't know, but the game looks really really good, and it's something I'll definitely have to look into and check more out because I'm pretty sure this is going to be like one of those games where everyone has to play. It has to be a has to play game just because of the story. Now, for this game, I was pretty hyped when I saw Hideo Kojima come out on the stage. I wasn't sure what to expect, but then they revealed this trailer, which had Norman Reedus, or Redis, sorry, I don't know how to pronounce it. And I was surprised to see him in the game, especially, with the canceling of Silent Hill PT. And I wasn't sure what he would be doing, but now I know what he's been up to and Kojima's been up to. And they gave us a small teaser. I'm not sure what this game is about, but as you can see, like, it was some freaky stuff that went down. And then you got like these 5 guys in the sky. Nobody knows what it's really about. And it looks really, really cool. Now, I'm not sure how it'll turn out because I know Silent Hill PT was, Silent Hill is in being a scary ass game and the jump scares and the storyline, which really draws people into the Silent Hill series. But this seems a little bit different from that, and it's called Death Stranding. So we'll have to check more in with Kojima and that. I'm pretty sure we'll get some more information about this game pretty soon. Now, I actually thought this game was Heavenly Sword for a second, but as the game went on, it wasn't, and I was highly salty. Not upset, but salty. And just going on, I think this is like one of the most... This game has a lot of potential, I would say. Just in that the way it looks is amazing, and the way it seems to play out is really, really good. Now, I have no idea what this game is about, but it has kind of this primal fear. And no, I'm not talking about Far Cry Primal. But the game circulates around, technology. As you can see, the lady here was battling robots with, electronic weapons and stuff like that. And it was different ways to break them down, which was kind of weird and kind of cool. Because it was literally one scene where, she took over this mechanical bull or animal of some sort. And she rode it. It seemed like it had human, not human interactions, but animal-human interactions, which was really, really cool. I'm not really sure how to, spell it out for you. But I just think this game has a lot of potential. The crowd definitely really welcomed this game in itself because of the way it played out. And it looks really fluid, and I'm pretty sure this is a game that could have the potential to become a series once we see some more gameplay of it. But just the way you interact with enemies and in the environment, I think this game is, really great, and it makes for, it has the elements of a great game in the works. So I'm really excited to see more about this game called Horizon Zero Dawn. Be sure to check it out. Now, it was really hard to decide where to put this game on my list of from worst to great. But I guess this is fitting for what I thought just personally, because it's not necessarily something new. It's something new for the series, but based on, recent events of the series and how their games have turned out, I decided that it belonged right here in just about 4th best on the list. What you are watching is gameplay of Resident Evil 7. Yes, they made another Resident Evil 7 game. Now, this is different in just some ways that you can already tell. There's a first-person view, and there's no weapon for the protagonist, which I find really interesting because it has that really Outlast 2 feel to it. And Outlast is a pretty hardcore game. I know it definitely did well money-wise and gameplay-wise, and everybody really enjoyed it. So I'm interested if Resident Evil decided to go that route, because 5 and 6 haven't had the greatest reviews. I personally thought 5 was okay and 6 was pretty shitty. I still enjoy Resident Evil 4. I think that's kind of, after Resident Evil 4, the series kind of went downhill, with Raccoon City and all that other, yeah. But definitely, this is definitely something new, and it makes it really interesting because it seems like they're trying to get back to, reinventing the series the right way, the way it should have been done before, and just by adding this Outlast feel to it. I wonder how they're going to make it play out, because I don't know. I'm used to having guns and being able to defend myself in a Resident Evil game, but now it doesn't seem like it's that way. So we'll just have to wait until we see some more. Now, the only thing I can compare this game to is iRobot. Now, if you don't know, iRobot is a movie about, machines that work for humans, and eventually they rebel, and Will Smith saves the day with a robot named Sony. It's a really good movie. You should check it out. I think I really enjoyed it. I say this because the main protagonist is an android, and it's a really story-driven game, mostly compared to Heavy Rain, which a great series. I really enjoyed playing that game, and it had like the different outcomes, the different types of ways things could go, which made the game really special on its own. And this has the same element. I'm pretty sure it's made by the same company. I'm not 100% sure, but that would be likely. And this is still on the list just because of the way it looks and the elements they brought back. And the main protagonist is an android, and currently androids are facing that rebellion stage. They want to be human, all that good stuff, and you're basically like a private detective, which is kind of cool. Heavy Rain had 4 different characters you could play around, and that whether they lived or died will ultimately decide the fate of how the story will end. This one just seems to have one protagonist, which is cool, and they make really great stories. So I'm definitely excited for this one. Hands down, I will be playing this game some way, shape, or form, and I'm really excited for this one. It's called Detroit Become Human. Now this game is second on my list for a couple of reasons. One, it has a guy who I think is a pretty great actor, especially when it comes to video games. I originally thought this guy was James Franco. Because come on, this guy looks like fucking James Franco, just a little bit. But it's actually Sam Winter, who also played Starkiller in the Force Unleashed series, which was, lively until the second one came around. I picked this game second for many reasons. I thought it was The Last of Us 2 at first, but no, it's actually called Days Gone. And it's a post-apocalyptic world, and it's really open world. Open world, not in the type of like you're driven from one place to another like The Last of Us, but more so like how GTA works, is how GTA is actually open world. It's like that, but with The Last of Us combined. That's probably, yeah, I would say it's like GTA and The Last of Us. Who doesn't fucking want that? And as you can see from the gameplay, it looks really good. It runs really smoothly. I'm not sure exactly what the premise of the story is or how everything works, but the game does definitely have a lot of potential. It's something new from PlayStation. The crowd definitely reacted well to this game. It's probably had one of the biggest cheers of the night, especially at E3, which was really, really amazing and really, really cool. I definitely will be tempted to get my hands on this game and find out, just exactly what this game is about. Just because looking at, everything. Now, the main protagonist is named Deacon, and he plays as a bounty hunter / drifter in a post-apocalyptic world, which is really, really different from the way most games work. And I have big hopes for this game because it does have a lot of potential. The actor is really, really good. He's well known. So I'm thinking, Sony made the right move with this game, and I definitely have to get my hands on it. Again, it's called Days Gone. Now, the biggest hype of the night was definitely this game right here. It gave me chills up and down my spines, man. I was soaking, and I ain't talking about, raindrops. I'm talking about motherfucking waterfalls. And once you get to the screen, you'll see why. This game is actually the newest of its series, and the longer awaited version, freaking God of War. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, God of War. Now, this is like really, really amazing. You get to see Kratos in a different light. He has a freaking full goatee beard, and he looks really, really amazing. This game is definitely different from, just a hack and slash. Yes, there still is hack and slash, as you can see, but just like the feel of the first God of War, or the first set, just like the first trilogy of the God of War games, it has a really different feel from it. And as you can see from some of the action and the gameplay, Kratos like puts down his thing. He he goes freaking hard in the paint. Waka. And the game's engine looks really, really good. As soon as this game ended, everybody in the crowd was really, really fucking hypey. Everybody was, brought with joy, screaming and shouting, which made me wonder why they didn't like save this game for last. I definitely thought it would have been a big surprise, but they showed this game first, which I guess was still okay. I guess they had to one up Xbox for the power plays they made, but it's fucking God of War and it looks so good. I'm not exactly sure, how it'll play out, because things got weird around the end of the last God of War, And this one just takes a completely different feel, because he has a son, and he still has his powers, or some of them at least. We don't know the full story, but the game does look really, really amazing. But I'm really excited for this one. I'm like really excited for this one. I haven't been able to, get over it since. This like I said, this game gave me chills up and down my spines. Like, I was so hyped, especially at the end when they revealed it was God of War. I went fucking ballistic. Oh my god, I can't. But that's the last game we have for you, the Sony press conference. I definitely think. Now, I won't give you the satisfaction of saying which conference did better. I'll tell you that a little bit later, in my opinion. But I think it's pretty obvious, And there's no bias here. I just want to let that be known. There's definitely no bias here. But Sony's conference, I think, went really, really well overall. They might not have had the biggest power play Microsoft had with, the joining of Windows 10 and PC, whatever. But just what they brought to the table was definitely a big impact on the way the 2016 through 2017 gaming year is going to go. And I'm really excited to see more of PlayStation's list of games. Xbox had a few that looked pretty promising, but I think PS4 or Sony. But I think Sony definitely gave them a run for their money, and I'm excited to see what these two of the biggest conferences have for the rest of the year. So with that being said, I really did enjoy this. We have one more conference being in the works, and that is the Nintendo conference, and that'll be the last one we do. And then after that, I'll make a video on just my thoughts of E3 this year as a whole, and I'm really excited for that. So until next time, guys and gals, Wes Fluffy is out.